Hi Pisces, welcome to your January 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I actually won't be offering those at the time I'm first posting the video. But when we actually physically move into the month of January, I will open them back up around that time. So just check out the description of the video for more information on that. As far as what we have in front of us, we have what I call the Bridging the Gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. The cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And these are the past, present, and future energies. Then once we get through those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards for some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as for the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, so I'll fold that out of the way. Past energy on your side, we have the Four of Arrows. So this is actually a Libra energy. It represents the last 10 degrees of Libra. And then this is actually also, to me, an energy of healing. So this could just be saying, for example, before this card comes the Three of Arrows or the Three of Swords. So this could just be saying that maybe when the two of you met, you were still healing from a previous connection. Or maybe, not to put it in a negative way, but maybe almost saying that they might have been a bit of a rebound type energy for you guys, or maybe as you were still recovering, this person might have come along at the time. But overall, I do see this as a pretty positive energy overall. But like I said, maybe for some of you, it's just that you guys were still going through a healing process when you met this person. And the reason why that could definitely be the case is because in the past energy on their side, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is actually a court card of Taurus, so maybe some of you guys are dealing with the Taurus, but that's also your third house of communication too. So maybe they were a bit aggressive with you guys, because if we look at the artwork there, we see the actual woman behind the pillar. It looks like she's hiding a little bit, like she's shy, right? So maybe this person came on a bit strong for you guys in the past, and maybe that might have thrown you off a bit. And maybe even you did feel the attraction, right? But at the same time, again, maybe you just weren't fully healed from something in the past. So, you might have actually rejected them due to that. In the present position, we have the Five of Staves, the Prince of Staves, and the Prince of Arrows. So a lot of movement energy here, especially compared to the Four of Arrows, which is an energy of just being still, taking some time, trying to think about things. But one way I could see this playing out, especially just looking at the card on their side in the present, this could just be saying that maybe this is someone who you view, maybe they have a lot of people pursuing them. So maybe that's one way it could be playing out. Maybe you feel like, all right, well, if I'm going to get this person, so like let's say you are through the healing process now you might realize that it might be a bit of a competition. And with this energy here, this is actually Knight of Wands energy, which is a Sagittarius type energy. So it could just be saying that you want to take that action, right, to actually pursue them. And then the Prince of Arrows is actually Knight of Swords, which is Gemini energy, which could be saying that, you actually want to communicate to this person regarding your interests, especially given that we see the name Cupid in this card in particular. And another way this could be playing out for some of you too could also be saying on the flip side that maybe some of you had an argument with this person, and maybe even around the fact that they had multiple people interested in them, because these two cards coming up together, the Sagittarius and the Gemini energy, makes me think that possibly when we had that full moon in Gemini, because if you think about the sun, which we see in the background, would have been in Sagittarius and opposing the moon in Gemini at that time. So this could even say around that time you guys might have gotten into an argument, especially because that full moon was squaring Neptune, which is your ruler in your sign. So it could have just been some tense energy, and maybe you guys got into a bit of an argument at that time. And present energy on their side, we have the Hierophant. So now we see two energies of Taurus. And on the one hand, you could view this as some growth from them, right? As far as to say if they go from that King energy to now the Major Arcana version of their energy, could show some growth there. But that could also be pointing to what I was saying as well, that maybe they have multiple options, right? Because we see the two women there. So it's definitely a bit of a different vibe from the traditional Hierophant card that we see. And again, that could have been what the tension was about in the present energy here. Now, the only thing is, I don't necessarily see that you guys had a commitment. So, I don't know. So I wouldn't necessarily see this as they're cheating. And to be fair, another way this could play out too could just be saying that maybe their outlook on relationships is maybe they don't believe in monogamy, and maybe that's what you guys are discussing. So they might give you one of those things where like they might say to you, all right, well, yeah, I'm fine with us being in a relationship, but I'm not really into monogamy. So, and then maybe even that was what the argument was about. So it could play out a few different ways. But yeah, definitely a lot of Taurus energy here. And again, like I said, that is your third house of communication. So could just be pointing to that too. And in the future energy, we see the Ace of Staves, which is the Ace of Wands, and then the Queen of Coins on your side. So this is actually a Capricorn energy. And then this is just just represents the fire element in general. So I could see this playing out a few different ways too. For some of you, these two cards together could just be saying that given that Capricorn is your house of friendship, this could be you guys maybe agreeing that, what, if that's their view on relationships, I'm not going to do anything, long term with them, but maybe you might still do like a friends with benefits thing, you know what I mean? Be like, well, if that's what it's going to be, that's fine, but I'm not going to be in a relationship with you, right? For others view, this can just represent you actually just feeling a bit more stable and secure and actually mirroring their energy in a bit, as far as like we see a lot of obviously pentacle earth element energy coming from their side. So maybe this is actually you feeling more confident, more stable, and able to do that. Because the Capricorn, if we think about the Queen of Coins energy, it's definitely an energy of stability. It's an energy of staying power as well. So that can be the way it's playing out for some of you, because at the bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Princess of Coins. So this is actually the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. And what stands out to me here is this could just be saying for some of you that the way I look at this, if we look at her facial expression, she doesn't look all that happy, right? So to me, this almost makes me feel like this was an offer that they might have made to you, right? Like I said in the past, they might have been a bit aggressive toward you. And maybe it was just, or maybe even it wasn't that they were aggressive, but it was just the timing was bad because you might have still been healing from something. So this could almost represent you looking back on that offer from them on the past and realizing that, maybe you missed an opportunity, right? Because the way I look at these trees, it looks like there's not much life to them. So could just be saying that this was something that you waited on for a long time rather, and then this could also point to you not feeling confident enough to approach them and let them know, hey, I've had a change of heart, right? But to see that and then see the Queen of Coins in the future could represent that, okay, now you are actually ready to reciprocate and come forward to them. So that's definitely another way it could play out. And then I do have to say, underneath that, I do see the Judgment card too. So that could represent this whole situation coming back around. And maybe that has to do with the fact that we're going to have an eclipse in your fifth house too of romance. So there could definitely be a shift there. So watch out for that full moon in January. And then future energy on their side, we have the World. So this is actually a card that represents completions. So it could just be as simple as this. Maybe in two different ways, both of you guys have grown through the connection. So even if there was separation, you might have both, separately grown. And now maybe you guys are ready to take things to another level. That's at least the way I could see it playing out for some of you. Because, I do see a steady growth in this person's energy. They went from the King of Pentacles to the Hierophant and now the World, So this is the last numbered card in the Major Arcana. So this could definitely represent some growth and progression for them. And for some of you, this could even be pointing to them moving toward monogamy, right? Because we see the World of completion and we see just two people here, right? And they're actually within that reefed type design, which could just be pointing to, all right, well, this is the person they've decided on. So that could be the way it's playing out for at least some of you. Now, what's interesting is on the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Tower. So what I really feel like for some of you this could be, and just getting the vibe from this person's energy, and it's not a knock on them, but what I can say this as could just be saying that, again, if they were being aggressive toward you and you turned them down because you were still healing from something, that could have been a big blow to their ego, you know? And ironically, that might have actually been what caused this growth progression in them, you know, where maybe they realized, okay, well, you know, maybe I shouldn't just expect everyone to just jump and do whatever I want them to do, right? So could have just been what actually sparked that growth cycle for them. Um, could it play out as something that could be taking place in the future for some of you? It's possible. Or, you know what, to be fair, if we're looking at, like I said, maybe they had more than one interest too. Maybe one of those options gets taken out of the picture, you know, so maybe, for example, they find out that one of those people was doing something behind their back, which sounds weird, right? If they were dealing with two people, like how can you expect the other person to be just with one, you know what I mean? So yeah, either way, I do see this as maybe a bit of a blow to their ego, but it looks like it actually works out in a positive way. But we'll see if the Oracle cards add anything additional to that. So first, I'll see if we get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck here. And for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, I actually pre-shuffle this deck before we start recording. Then I'm just looking for jumpers. So first I'll see if there's any unspoken messages from them to you, and then from you to them. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I just take that as a sign to keep moving, since it's just a general reading. But for those of you who are curious, when we do the personal readings, I actually do pull cards for both energies all the time. Alright, so first we'll see if we have any unspoken messages from you to them. Alright, nothing come up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Okay, nothing there, so we'll see if there's any unspoken messages from them to you. Alright, nothing coming up there yet either, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Alright, nothing there either, so let's move on to the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And same situation here, I did pre-shuffle this deck, and we're just looking for one card here, and then we'll wrap up. Alright, nothing coming up here either, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. And worst case, I will just pull one from this deck, because I do like to wrap up with at least one card from the Oracle decks. So let's see if we get anything now. Alright, yep, nothing coming up. So on the one hand, this could just be saying that what we've already covered pretty much does cover everything, but we will still pull a card. So give me a second and I'll just pull one. Alright. We have Thinker. So there's the artwork for it, and the number is 44. Alright, right, it says strategy, being analytical and logical. The Oracle's message, the ability to reason and strategize is the focus now. Take things at face value and follow the logical path. Your calculations will prove to be correct, for in this moment there is no deeper meaning than what is obvious. Things are exactly as they seem. You have all the information you need. Keep it simple and you will win the game of life you're playing right now. So that's pretty funny because that reminds me of what I was just saying as far as the Oracle cards not coming up. Could just be saying that whatever we already covered in the main spread pretty much sums up what the situation is, but we'll see what the relationship message says. It says love is not logical, but when you choose a partner, it is good to have things in common other than desire. It is a time to weigh the pros and cons of your partnership. If there is enough common ground, go for it. If not, there are other fish in the sea. Don't force it to work. And should others tell you who they are, take them at their word. Now is not the time to indulge in a fantasy. No matter what, in this case, the facts are the facts. So, definitely a pretty interesting message there. And then what that could even be pointing to is, let's say that there was this heavy attraction between the two of you, but maybe, again, given that there is such an earthly energy and you guys are more water, even though I don't really see any water on your side, to be fair, could just be saying that, if you feel like you guys just don't vibe together, maybe you wouldn't force it. And then I can say for some of you, maybe this ends up being a deal breaker for those of you where it did resonate, that maybe they tell you that they're just not really into monogamy, and then you are, for example. So then maybe that ends up being the deal breaker for you. And then in that case, the Queen of Coins could even just represent you turning the back on the connection and looking for something new, with the Ace of Staves being that, wand energy taking action towards something new. And maybe that's why we could see her back is turned to the spread. But for the majority of you, I do feel like this is probably something you guys would work out. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.